And our next guest joining me tonight here on Punky's MixTape is joining us all the way from Bangkok, Thailand. I'd like everybody to welcome to the show, Stay Awake. How we doing, everyone?
Good, man.
Good. Yo.
Good.
Thank you for joining me this morning / evening. Definitely appreciate it.
A pleasure.
Appreciate your time too.
Now, real quick, let's go down the line, introduce yourselves, and tell us what you do in the band.
Do you want me to go first? I'm Andy. I play guitar in Stay Awake. Paul?
I'm Paul. I'm from Scotland. I play bass.
Yeah. I'm the drummer. My name's Jules. I'm from Philippines.
And my name's John. I sing and play guitar, and I'm from New Zealand, but grew up in Melbourne.
Wow. This might be one of the most geographically diverse bands I've ever had on the show. You guys are all from different parts of the world. How did you all manage to find each other and form the band?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, make it quick though.
Yeah, be quick, Andy.
So I moved to Bangkok from the Middle East about 4 years ago. I've always played in bands, and there's a Facebook group out here called Bangkok Musicians, and there is like a punk networking group, and I just simply put a post on there. Started with two completely different members who, for their own reasons, decided not to continue it. And then John joined, and then Jules joined, and then Paul joined, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history from there.
There you go.
Now, we got to check out a track a couple of weeks ago on the show, and we actually had met through a Facebook group from the Bangkok punk rock group. I believe it's how we found each other. And for my mixtapers that may not be familiar, as I kind of just dropped the bomb there, obviously a punk band, but tell us a little bit about the style and a little bit about Stay Awake.
Do you want me to do this one? Okay.
Yeah.
No one objected.
You guys are so polite. Fucking love it.
Yeah, for a punk band, that's probably not the best attribute, but
Would you like me to go?
I guess so, yeah.
After you.
I guess it's kind of like punk rock music. In the 90s, I was into this sort of style of music, and nice to meet a band that sort of was kind of nostalgic. It's not really new music, but we put a bit of our own flavor into it. It's a little bit like Rise Against or Boy Sets Fire. Andy loves Propaganda. I was getting into some more hardcore stuff. Cole, I don't know, he likes metal, I think. So he brought that in there. And Yuli's favorite band is like
Spice Girls,
Foo Fighters or something. So he's got a bit of a rock. He's like the Filipino rock guy. So it's a bit of
Jesus.
You got your pop, your metal, your nostalgic, your hardcore influence, and just bring it all together. And there's Stay Awake.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh man, that's awesome. Now, out of general curiosity, what is the punk scene like there in Thailand?
Pretty good, actually. Some pretty strong bands out here. I would say probably more edging towards maybe sort of like your maybe old school punk into hardcore sort of stuff. I think we probably for the music that we write probably stand alone a little bit. But there's some incredibly talented musicians, not just in Bangkok, in Thailand, but I mean all over Asia. You know, when we've toured the Philippines, I mean some of those bands were simply unbelievable. Bands like Typecast, Kamikaze. I mean, just amazing bands to see. And I'd recommend people around the world, whoever's listening to this, go and check out some of those Filipino bands. They're amazing.
That's awesome. And then now, as far as like fans and shows goes, like what's the energy level like? Is it pretty intense? Pretty good response?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty amazing actually. Like Thailand's pretty cool. They're a bit more reserved than some of the countries. Indonesia can be pretty crazy. Philippines, nuts. Like they love it. Yeah, all of Asia. Japan, we went. I don't know. I think it feels. I haven't been to America and played a show, but I get the feeling that's definitely more than Melbourne. There's a bit more energy than Melbourne. People want you to feel welcome. They want to take part. It's quite fun, especially like hardcore shows and stuff. Kids moshing and they're still doing that stuff. Like I don't know. It's quite a fresh. It's still quite fresh here, even though it's not new. It's kind of feels fresh as well for the punk scene and the hardcore scene, metal and stuff. Before COVID, I don't know, like I don't know what happened. So maybe
there's only been one show
it was
this year,
really good.
right?
Say that again, Niels?
Yeah, we did.
There's only been like one show this year, and it was like our EP release, and then it's back on lockdown again or something.
Yeah, we turned one show down because it was a Sunday. We're like, oh no, we're gonna go support another band. We already said we would, and then we turned it down, and then that was the last chance we would have had. But we played a big show. We did the EP launch, and that was really great. Actually, that was the best energy because I think people have been locked away and hadn't seen a punk show or any bands. We put on this show, and it was a really good response. So I think because of the COVID, it exploded a little bit. But I don't know what typically it's a really good place to play and come out here and tour. It's very positive and very appreciative of your music.
I think as well, we've got a lot more appreciation having had all that sort of stuff taken away from us. I mean, obviously shows for big bands out this end of the world that there's not loads of them, but there were some, and it's amazing to go and watch live music, whichever kind of music you're into, and to have it taken away from you, it's a big part of people's lives that's missing. So, I mean, I guess entertainment as a whole, when it comes back, it's going to go off, isn't it? It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've been joking about it here on the show, and I'm like, I'm closer to my to 40s now, and I'm not jumping in that first pit. We got people here in the States like 14, 15, 16 months of pent up aggression. I'm all set. I'll let the young guys beat each other up for a little bit, and then I'll go out there. Yeah, but I'm definitely not jumping in the first one. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah,
really good Asian bands. There's a website unite.asia, uniteasia.net, I think. Yeah, Unite Asia. Anyway, Google Unite Asia, and it's run by a Hong Kong guy called Riz, and they put all the Asian hardcore, punk, metal, all the alternate bands on this Unite Asia. Or it might be uniteasia.org. But yeah, guys, check that out.
Uniteasia.org. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's if you want to know any Asian band, they're all on that. This guy Riz from Hong Kong runs all this stuff.
So you guys been together now for the better part of 4 years since you found each other, and you guys had dropped. Was it One Stone Away back in 2019? Correct.
That's correct. Yeah. We've been together for two years now. I think, is it
2 years?
About three.
About three.
Yeah, I can say it might feel like 4 years, but I think 2, 3 years. Yeah. One Stone Away was the first EP, and that was sort of, I guess, and the guys I'm sure will correct me if I'm wrong in saying this. That was sort of like this current lineup of the band sort of getting together, as it were. So I think because John was the first one to join what we know as Stay Awake now, I think that's probably more of our work. Whereas when we moved on to the second EP, it's absolutely a collective effort, definitely.
So for One Stone Away is what you were touring on there until COVID and the lockdown happened?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, those tracks. And then a lot of the tracks we wrote last year. So we had all lockdowns happening. So we had a lot of time. So there's a bit of that. I think that feeling, the lyrics and the sort of the sentiment is about 2020. I know it sounds cliche now, but when we were doing it, we're like, this is the song for this year, But I hear every band's doing a song like that.
But at the same time, it's something that we've all experienced that none of us, if you would have told us, back in March of 2020 that we were going to be locked away, we're going to have, global death numbers, in the millions and all of no one would have expected this,
Nah,
so
definitely.
I don't really think it's cliche to have your quarantine lockdown song or album, because none of us have ever gone through anything like this in our lives, and I don't think, and I pray that we fucking never do again.
We were kind of lucky here, weren't we? Because I mean, we had the initial lockdown And then sort of like things were eased quite a bit. You know, we were able to, going back to 2020 now, we're able to do some shows. And then I guess just recently, like numbers have spiked quite a bit. So I wouldn't suggest we're on lockdown. Things are still open, but we've definitely still got some restrictions in place. But fingers crossed as we go towards the future, get into the back end of the year, the back half of the year, things will open up and we can go out and party a little bit more. You know what I'm looking forward to? A beer in a bar, a nice handful pint of beer in a bar would be beautiful, rather than just going across to the fridge and pulling a beer out.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Honestly, the beer at an outside show, sun just pelting down on me. That's what I want. You know, I want that moment, and I can't wait.
I couldn't agree more. Definitely, yeah. A little respect for other people, learn to look after other people as well. I think that's probably one of the big lessons that everybody's learned, you know, during this period. But I think on a more positive note, I think what a lot of people have done, that they've explored new avenues. People have learned new stuff. People have been productive in lockdown. So I mean, you know, whilst overall, I guess you could see it's a negative time. You don't want to see anybody die or suffer. But on the plus side, you know, people have broadened themselves and gone off and done new and different stuff, even if it was in the confines of four walls.
Well, absolutely, and I've been referring to it as like the COVID Renaissance. You know, because there is.
I call it the Great Reset.
Use it, please. Like let's get it around there. Let's get it around the world. Because it is like it's been a global shift in consciousness. We're all starting to think a little bit more carefully about our neighbors and caring and showing empathy and understanding and selflessness towards the people around us. Nevertheless, what everybody's done in their downtime, let it be, you know, from writing to, you know, the poetry to music to physical art to interpretive dance, you know, movement art, all these different types of forms that people have, things that you never have the downtime before, you know, to sit and be like, you know what, I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. You know, I got, you know, not saying, you know, I want to learn Portuguese. I want to learn German. You know, I want to learn how to play the ukulele. You know, people have had that time where they can finally explore that little secret ambition that they always wanted to work on and put it out there. Others who have been working on those types of skills, hobbies, careers at whatever level that you're doing it have been able to hone it in as well. So I think when we're starting to see it now, you're starting to see this amazing flood of every single artistic medium coming forward. And it's amazing that you're getting all these kind of boundless, genre-less ideas. You know, you've got so many different things, different mediums all culminating into one. And it's fascinating to watch. You know, just as a anthropological study of watching people and seeing them and seeing how they react to this and what they're creating from here, it's been truly inspiring to see what everybody's been doing around the world and how they've been making the best out of a bad situation.
Well, you'd have thought we'd have taken the time to learn our instruments correctly, but sadly we didn't do that. We're still shit.
Now, I ask everybody this, do you still remember how to play the songs? That's the most important thing.
We're still jamming. We still go to band practice. There's no one else there, but there's like a rehearsal space we go to. So we're all fine, actually, yeah. But it was a little bit, I guess we had some time off. Hey, Paul's actually learned some stuff. He's got less hours at his job, and he's at home, and he's doing all this contact stuff, like contacting people on podcasts. He's contacting labels. He's really getting our sound out there. So, Paul, you can tell the audience and everybody what you do, what you learn.
My inspiring journey during COVID. I've just been online, like learning stuff, looking at tutorials for programs and just finding out a little bit more about the music industry and how to reach out to people and lots of different things. There's a really great website, probably more aimed at people in the UK, I'd say, but it's still really useful, called the Unsigned Guide. And so I signed up to that, and there's just a whole ton of information in there. So I've just been kind of keeping busy reading through it. Just keeping busy. I think if I didn't, I would probably, I'd probably go a bit crazy. I'd probably get cabin fever, but But yeah,
Yuli found a new website too. Yuli found that. What's that website, Yuli? OnlyFans? Something you were talking about?
Yes. Hey, 20 bucks is 20 bucks, all right? Times have gotten tough.
If you ask him nicely, he'll give you his username. You can look it up later.
I better get a promo code, honestly. I mean, tit for tat. I'll give you mine.
Wait.
I mean, mine is nothing but foot stuff. So, foot.
You will literally be the.
I'm doing a whole summer pie push. I'm gonna be literally dipping my toes into different pies. That's my for my next Patreon push. Oh God. Oh, don't put your toes in the. Oh, those. Yeah, not in the foot stuff.
Man, there's some weird stuff out there though. Like, there's this girl. She's got millions of views. I think if you go on YouTube, she just puts her face in bread.
Yes.
She just fucking
Yeah.
she just headbutts a fucking loaf of bread. And like, people dig it. Millions of views. Yeah, just sticking the head in bread.
I was on that this morning.
I discovered that bread girl on like a YouTube channel. It used to be Zap to Spy On, but now it's like Crack to Spy On. It's this compilation videos, and I saw Bread Girl on there for the first time in a very, I'm going to say this in the most PG possible, in a very psychedelic evening. I discovered Bread Girl, and it fucking stuck with me. And that was years. She's been sticking her face in bread for years now. It goes to show how long it's been since I've had a psychedelic evening. But she's been bread-headed it up long before quarantine. This is the only type of fine content you can find here on Punky's Mixtape and the Mixtape Network.
So weird. Like,
but
what do you do for a living? Like
20 bucks is 20. I've come to realize that, Rule 32, that if it exists, there's a porn version, or Rule 34, that's what it is. If it exists, there's a porn version of it. So, when there's a will, there's a way. And to each your own, honestly, at the end of the day. If somebody is satisfied, if they're satiated by sticking their face in bread or putting their face in bread, good for them. They ain't hurting anybody.
She earns through headbutting bread. How would you even write that on your resume when you go?
Oh, go on, do it again. Is that Holmgren?
Oh, no!
Man.
Get the.
You are kidding me. Is that right? Oh.
I heard she got a yeast infection.
Oh!
I was gonna say you're getting a rise out of me.
Holy shit! Oh my God, I'm gonna need that hat again, but oh my God!
Did you say you're going to need?
I'm kind of high.
You're going to need that hat.
Holy shit! It's like one of those jokes you would get on a popsicle as a kid, but it's like an R-rated version. It's just like
conversation.
What did the girl get when she headbutted a loaf of bread? A yeast infection. Holy shit! Oh man! All right, pulling it back in. Oh my God! I'm leaving this in there. This is great. This is better than the content you can get on Punky's Mixtape. Holy shit! You painted a truly excellent portrait of yourself. And speaking of portraits, look at this. Reeling it right back in.
Great segue.
I'm the king of the segues here. I really try. So, trying to get Bread Girl out of my head. Oh man. So you guys, you would put together. You worked on portraits. I imagine was that the beginning of the year last year? Or did you start in 2019 working on the album?
We started quite early. We started put some ideas together about 2 years ago.
Yeah, we had the song portraits right after we released One Stone Away. Like obviously after you release your first album or EP, you need to write some new stuff. So that's probably the song that's the oldest song from the EP, the second EP, and the rest were just written right before the lockdown or something.
Some portraits are about 2 years old, I think.
Yeah.
We played a show at a bar called The Overstay in Bangkok, and I think it's around about 2 years since we played that show, and that's the first show that we played that song at. I mean, it's changed quite a bit since then, so I guess the finalized version was probably rewritten quite recently, wasn't it? But yeah, we've been writing the new record for a long time. Plenty of time to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you put out Portraits. So that kind of, you're working on a new album too?
We started writing new music. Yeah, I guess you could say that the very bare bones of 1 or 2 tracks that we started writing. But I guess all musicians is the same. Like you have this like package that you put out, but I mean you never stop creating, and that's the beauty. You'll know from your endeavors. You never stop creating. You're always creating. You pick up a guitar, and some days you feel like you've never seen a guitar before, and you can't even string 2 chords together. And some days it flows out of you, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And like I said, it's not everyone is always a grand slam. I've written plenty of songs in practice, and I'm like, oh yeah, and the practice is good. But I wake up the next day and I like listen to the rough recordings. I'm like, oh my god, how much do we have to drink? This is a 32-minute breakdown. What are we thinking?
It's interesting when we went in to record the new record. A lot of the songs were, I won't say a lot longer, but they were certainly longer, like 3.5, maybe even pushing 4 minutes. So we did chop quite a bit out of the songs. Can I name drop here? We had some guidance from Yatam out of Useless ID, and it was his idea to pull certain things out, put certain things in, and he gave us some great advice, which has obviously led to the record that's been the record that we know today.
Having an honest engineer like that is huge, especially when you can take the constructive criticism and hear it from not just like from your own, like, this is my song and I don't want to change it, but kind of step back from yourself and take in the influence, take in the advice, and really meld that in. I think that's where you really get into something great, and especially when you have a truly talented engineer that knows what they're doing behind the board, and they can kind of bring out the best in everybody. It really makes the difference in an album.
Absolutely.
Especially like considering that you're in the studio. Well, I mean, we were in the studio pretty much every day for a while. We spent like maybe 90 hours, close to 100 hours, I think, in the studio. And you're listening to these songs every single day, constantly like analyzing it and thinking, where can I improve this? Or where, does this actually sound quite right? But you need to take a step back and have someone else, especially someone with, a bit of experience, listen to it with fresh ears and just kind of say, okay, guys, I think this works, this doesn't work, because sometimes you just oversaturate, like listening to it. You're always listening to it.
Yeah. And actually, you're right though. When he gave us his feedback, we're like, we toured with him. He was our friend, and we're like, hey, this. He's like, yeah, well, and he chopped it up, and it was a sort of we had to swallow our egos a little bit, and we had to like, but we like this bit, and like Yotam said, this is too long. We've chopped bits out, so it was a good how would you say? Yeah, a maturing process as well. So. We got onto him a bit late. Like, we were trying to get onto him, and he was supposed to come. He said he'd fly to Bangkok if we paid for his airfares and gave him all this, like made it all worth his while. And then we hired him. We had paid him money to do it. It was really so he put his brains into it. But yeah, he chopped it up so much, and we had to like a minute, nearly cut a minute from every song, except for like maybe 1 or 2. Like, so one of the shorter ones. So yeah, that was whatever you were referring to that before about the ego and getting hurt.
Yeah, like sometimes you just have to kind of put it aside a little bit and kind of look at the bigger picture and be like, you know what, fuck, you're right. And when you have somebody that you can truly trust behind that, I think it really kind of builds the relationship that much more, because they're at this point they're an extra, an appendage of the band. They're just as much of an equal part. A good engineer really can make or break a band, hands down. And especially someone that's got prior experience, touring experience, stuff like that. That type of wisdom is priceless when it comes down to recording an album, hands down.
That's a bit hard for that's been a little bit of the issue here in Thailand, not just for us, but the engineers are quite quiet, and they don't really put their 2 cents into things. we had a guy called Nin last time he was a bit opinionated, but not really. He didn't really say much. So that's one of the sort of downsides of recording a guitar. And it's not too expensive. You get this great quality equipment. You have these sort of very, very capable, competent guys, but they'll help you a little bit, but they're not really, to get someone like you're
they're
saying.
more like, you're kind of like doing it by the book. They don't really want to take risks, and like they just do it like how you're supposed to do it. They don't really take risks to have like, I don't know, like a better sound. It might be bad, it might be good, but the point is they don't really take risks.
They're very respectful. That's the culture.
Very respectful,
Very respectful.
Yeah, I guess
it's good, but at the same time, you kind of want to be challenged a little bit to think critically. That's the way that I feel. I thrive in a studio. It's like, that was good. However, humor me real quick. Try this out. And then that's where I think when you can, when somebody can look at your art from a different perspective and add their vantage point to it, it's just growing and evolving. It's the difference between writing a solo album and also being in a band. You have 3 other people to influence in the band, that you're all culminating together. Getting another one in there is not going to break the band. It's not going to be a Yoko situation. We're not the Beatles. We're not going to fall apart with that.
Not yet.
Not yet. Give it time.
Yeah, but
you gotta put out your White Album first, and then you can get Yoko.
Then we can get Yoko.
Oh shit! So you guys are staying busy. Do you guys have anything planned coming up here in the future? Or are you still under lockdown restrictions?
We have a music video. We're doing Brave New Normal music video soon. We're going to do it this month, but because of can't really, it's a bit hard. So
or keeping it down low as well. I mean, we even made a joke about it. Like, imagine if we make a music video, then all the cast from the music video gets COVID or something. That would be a good story, but not really.
I'm not sure a good story. Like, everyone got COVID.
Yeah, a good story for the next podcast, Punky.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have to the follow back up. Make sure that that cast and crew either made it out alive or maybe everybody died. It depends on what type of video you're making. Hopefully not the latter. Hopefully not the latter.
It's not the same video that Yuli's making.
Enough funny stuff from you, John.
Yuli's off to buy a loaf of bread after this.
Oh. Oh my god, dude! Just a little slice of life, isn't it?
That's his page name.
It's life.
It's how he is.
Trust, we trust.
It's how he is.
Trust. Oh, man. Oh, what a rye guy.
Oh, it's a real slice of life, this.
How many bread puns can we fit into this?
Keep them going, man. You're getting a real rise out of me. Like,
I think we're on a roll.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good dad joke.
we're not leaving it there.
Oh.
Leaving.
Well, I got any more in me? I'm fucking gonna cry. Shit.
Dear.
Now
I'm not quite ready for another one.
Music video. Gonna help support some fine young woman in her culinary adventures. Anything else we have to look forward to? Stay awake.
Hopefully, early 22, we can go to Japan. So one of the guys we actually sort of got a distribution deal with Sunlight Records, which is a guy called Hiro and Daisuke from Wait for Sunlight. Wait for Sunlight, and they're a Japanese band, but they want us to come in January, February. So that's the best time to tour, and they're really excited. They really want to. So fingers crossed, we could go to Japan again that time. And the air flight's probably really cheap, so it's probably going to be a good idea. Last year they were giving free tickets. Like, we came back from Japan in February. They had the boat there, like that boat that held the people in there, like in Yokohama. We were in Yokohama and there's a boat full of people that they wouldn't let off. So they got hit hard, but then they were offering nearly free flights. It was like such a cheap flight, $200 return airfare to Tokyo and stuff from Thailand. Like they really wanted people to come.
Damn, I might need it. I might need to book a flight in early advance of the tour, just so I can get one, be able to see you guys live, and also get to hang out in Japan, because that'd be two good ones there.
That'd be awesome.
It's the best time too. It's cold. Well, yeah, it's good for us because it's hot every day. Yeah, so going to cold was great. We all bought hoodies, and it was. Oh, actually, it's not Yuli. Sorry, bro. he wasn't allowed to come. We should put it in context. So Yuli, we really wanted to come, but he had visa troubles, so he couldn't go. So we got a guy who I used to play drums with here in Bangkok. He was in Brazil. He caught 5 flights, and he flew all the way to do a tour in Japan from Brazil. Crazy. He's like a Finnish guy. With, you know, he looked good on stage because he's all like blonde and tattooed neck and everything.
And you know, just David.
That's what John's looking for, a guy.
Yeah. I got my perfect guy to drums.
Is that a prerequisite for the man to have long hair? You got to have long flowing hair to play drums and stay awake.
That's it.
Yeah. Yuli's got the best hair in the band for sure.
What?
Because I'm the youngest one, dude.
Oh man, you guys have been unbelievable. You guys really made my morning night. You know, wherever in the world you're watching this right now, whatever time of day it might be, I hope you're having fun, because we're having a fucking blast here on the show tonight. This has been unbelievable. Before we take a break and have you guys run the gauntlet that is MixTape Malarkey, where's the best place to find you online?
Paul, go for it.
Facebook.com/Stay Awake Official. Also on Instagram.com/Stay Awake Punks. We've got both EPs also on Spotify as well. That's it.
What's our Spotify?
That's it.
Yeah.
Spotify account, man.
And if you read,
Spotify.
the comments,
Portraits on Spotify. That's probably the best place. Stay Awake Portraits.
Definitely add the Spotify. Go to Spotify, add them to your playlist. Yep. You guys are on my drive mix. I really enjoy it. I love a good freaking skate punk sound. You know, totally driving the speed limit. Totally not speeding here in the middle of the woods in Maine. That's for sure.
Never.
Now, thank you so much. Definitely excited to run the gauntlet playing MixTape Malarkey with you. My guests this evening have been Paul, Andrew, John, and Yules of the band Stay Awake of Bangkok, Thailand. And thank you all for being a part of the show. And we'll be back a little bit later in the episode. But first, we're going to check out a couple of tunes before we do that.
Cheers. Thank you, Punky.
Thank you. Cheers.
Oh, no, we're coming back.
We're coming back. We're not leaving yet. We still got a little bit more. So we're going to bring you back.
I was like, everyone just went quiet. I was like, what's happening?
Like I'm going into the other room, but I want to say bye anyways for a second. You're still going to see me before I leave, but I just want to let you know I'm heading out of the room for a second.
Okay.
But we'll be back in a little bit later in the episode with our new friends and Stay Awake, so sit tight.